Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I am here as part of the design team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. We are a free and fun group that helps inspire you to use up your existing scrapbooking stash. We have several challenges a month, including our new sketch series. So here is the sketch we are working with this time around, and I will give you some ideas about how I put sketches to use on my layouts as we progress. So let's dive in. So if you're new to sketches, there is no right or wrong way to use a sketch. It is whatever inspires you. In general, I stick with kind of the body of the sketch and then I adjust things to fit as needed. So I'm going to work with these two photos, which are about the same size as the photos in the sketch. However, they have a different orientation. So the first thing I'm going to do is rotate that sketch. And I'm going to leave that up on the screen for you so you can refer to it as I go. Now I'm pulling out my Counterfeit Kit. And if you don't know what the Counterfeit Kit Challenge group is, I will leave you links below so that you can go check us out. Totally free, just a fun, inspiring group. All right, I am looking for papers that can go along with this sketch. Now, the central zone where the photos are is a lighter paper in the sketch, but I'm going to end up going with a much darker paper. However, I am going to try and maintain the contrast between those three zones that you see on the sketch. There's a very light zone in the middle, and then a medium zone on the right, and a heavier pattern zone I'm talking about on the right. And that kind of follows the pint, quart, gallon rule of design, where you have kind of three parts to the design, and one is smaller or lighter, one is medium, and one is heavier. So that is what I'm going with here. Now I have this Alta New crafting mat that I've had for a few months now, and the more I use it, the more I love it. And one of the things I like about this mat is that it has a square designated on it as the size of a scrapbook layout. So when I am piecing pieces of paper back together to create my full 12 by 12 page, I can use the guides on this to get everything realigned and all glued back together. Now, I put my glue right up to the edge of that central strip, which will come back to bite me a little bit later, as I wanted to tuck things under there and I didn't really think about it at this stage. However, I'm going to make do, and I've got my base down and I'm ready to go. So here are my photos, and this is some goofy Christmas presents that we did. So that is what my story is all about. Now, as I rotated this page, the title would have been, sideways on the left-hand side. So I'm going to shift that title, and this is what I talk about when I'm using sketches. I shift things to fit what I need. I'm going to shift that title over to the right, kind of where the journaling otherwise would have been. And then I will shift other parts of the layout as we go. Now I'm going to use this wood grain to hold my title. I do have a whole bunch of these homemade embellishments that I did. And if you like the idea of not only using up your stash, but making your own embellishments out of things you already have, then the Counterfeit Kit is a great group for you. And I encourage you to check it out. And I will link you up to this video where I made my own embellishments. At any rate, I am picking and choosing some things from my kit that I think will work. And I knew I wanted the title to say Gag Christmas Gift, but I didn't know what font I wanted to use. I have a couple of sticker fonts in the sticker books that I've added to my kit. I also have been die cutting my own fun foam to make my titles. And that's a black fun foam. And I decided I really wanted something a little more colorful and a little more goofy, especially since my background pattern papers are a little more traditional and kind of formal in a way. So I wanted to bring in the funness of this layout story with the alphabets that I use. So I picked out some alphabets to use, and I cut a banner just like there's a banner in the sketch. However, it's going to hold my title instead of journaling. Now, I know that banner is going to be too big for what I need, but I'll work on that later. Now, opposite that banner in the sketch is the place where the title is. So I'm going to take up that space with embellishments. And I have this wonderful cozy fireplace embellishment that I created. It's not a perfect embellishment. I wish I had colored some behind the fire because it's very stark, but I'm going to add some bits and pieces to it to make it look a little more cozy and kind of blend in a little bit better. Now I have these little kind of fireplace mantle pieces that came with that same fireplace stamp set that I stamped and die cut to create just kind of shelves. And I've used those already on layouts this month. And so I created some more. And that's the great thing about making your own embellishments, is that if you need more of a certain element, you can go ahead and make more. So I did that. And I'm going to pop those up on some foam. And those are going to hold the place of that string of hearts there that are kind of flowing on the page. Instead of being a string of hearts, I'm going to use them as shelves of embellishments, or, you know, they're looking like a shelf of homey items. Now here's where I trimmed my title down, and I will get that all glued in place. And so I've got my photos popped up on foam, and my shelf items popped up, or not the items themselves, but my shelves popped up on foam, and that will allow me to tuck and hang and dangle items off of there. And as I put these embellishments in place, you can see that kind of ornament is pointing down towards the photo. So that helps lead the eye a little bit. So that is one decision that I go into when I'm doing some of these things, is thinking about how those embellishments are angled or positioned. And that worked out quite nicely. And so I'm just kind of finishing up my arrangement of all of these little embellishments. And again, I have a mixture of embellishments that I created and a pre-made pack of embellishments from Pink Fresh Studio that happens to be some Christmas embellishments. So I don't mind mixing and matching my own homemade embellishments with, you know, pre-made items. And what was fun about my homemade embellishments is that I had a lot of hat icons, and a hat plays very strongly into the story that I am telling today. So even though it's not the same style of hat, I'm going to put those on this layout and put those to use. So that works out nicely. And as I was about to put things away, I found this little wreath piece that I had started using on another project and never got to. And it actually fit really nicely under my title there. So when I tucked it in there, I did do my journaling around where that might land. And so I decided to go ahead and keep that wreath piece, but I don't like the center of it. It's an awkward space, so I'm going to take care of that. I also, in my embellishment kit this month, is this sticker book that I had chosen just for, really, there's some bird icons in there, but there happens to be some fishing ephemera in there also, and this story has something to do with fishing. If you wait around for the still photo and you want to read the journaling later, you can do that. So the hats and the fishing gear and all of these icons on top of the Christmas theme are bits and pieces that I'm going to put together for my story. And that's part of the reason why I like building my own kits, because who would put fishing and Christmas items in the same kit? Well, I would. And even though I didn't intend to do it that way, it worked out perfectly, because that's how our Christmas turned out. So this was a very, very fun way to get all of these pieces used up. And hopefully I have shared some ideas for using those kits. Now, one other thing that I did do on this layout was put that little hat banner off, kind of border strip off to the left, and it has a bit of a scalloped edge to it. And the original kit also had scalloped edges surrounding that centerpiece. Now I flipped my layout upside down just to make sure I have everything glued in place, and often I don't, but this time I managed to get everything tacked down. And that will finish up the layout for this time. So if you want other people's ideas and interpretations of this same sketch, go ahead and head over to the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. We have a Facebook group and a blog, and you can find inspiration in both of those places, as well as using searching the hashtag Counterfeit Kit Challenge over on Instagram, and we will share all of our ideas with you. All right, that is it for today's video. I will be back tomorrow with a new scrapbook kit unboxing and project video for the year of 2024. I hope you'll join me then, and until then, have an artful day.